Kia ora te whānau, ko Andrew Doubleday tēnei. Today we're looking at the Gospel for Sunday the 7th of August, which is Luke chapter 12 verses 32 through to 40. Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give alms. Make purses for yourselves that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so that they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will come and serve them. If he comes during the middle of the night or near dawn and finds them so, blessed are those slaves. But know this, if the owner of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would have not let his house be broken into. You must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour. I want to suggest today that this is not just about a one-off return of Jesus at some time in the near, middle or distant future. This is not simply about the expected advent of Christ that the church has longed for the last 2,000 years. I want to suggest that this has implications for us for each day. It's about living in a state of readiness, in a state of being focused and clear about why we're here and about what we're called to. He starts by talking about selling our possessions and basically giving it away to the poor, what we've gained from it. Make purses for yourselves that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And conversely, where your heart is, there is your treasure. I wonder if you've ever imagined being a missionary in the most basic sense, of selling what you've had and just packing up a bag with a few necessaries and travelling to distant country, perhaps somewhere in Asia or in Africa or in South America, some place where life is simple and is devoid of all the trappings of modern existence. Now, I suspect there are very few of those kind of places left, but I wonder if you can imagine doing that just with what you can carry. And I wonder, on the one hand, how worrying it be, but also how freeing it might be. All the things you no longer have to worry about. The mortgages, the insurances, the rates, the maintenance, the gardens that need tending, the lawns that need mowing, the windows that need washing, all the things that demand our time and scream at us to be done. No longer of any concern. I've wondered sometimes what that might be like. It has a kind of attraction to it. I wonder what it might be like, for example, to have an itinerant life, not doing the things he did, but the kind of itineracy of that fictional character Jack Reacher. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his episodes or of the movies made about him. He's an invention of an author by the name of Lee Childs. Interesting that per capita New Zealanders are the biggest consumer of Jack Reacher novels. He's an ex-military policeman of no fixed abode. He just wanders from place to place and gets himself in trouble and sorts trouble out. And he takes nothing with him. I think he might have a card and a toothbrush. And what he needs, he just gets along the way. If his clothes get particularly grubby or they get particularly smelly, he goes to a shop, buys some rough new ones and puts the others in the bin. He just goes about from place to place. He has no attachments, nothing that hold him back, that allow him to remain with a kind of focus. I'm wondering if this is the kind of picture that Jesus is holding for us. Anthony de Mello tells the story of one Chofetz Chaim. I don't think that was his real name, but a very well-known Jewish Polish rabbi of the 1900s. And he wrote many books. And de Mello tells the story of an American tourist who visits him and discovers that all he does is he lives in one room with piles of books, a bed and a table. And he remonstrates with the rabbi. He says, "Rabbi, where's your furniture?" And the rabbi says to him, "Where's yours?" "But I'm just passing through," says the tourist. "So am I," says the rabbi. We're all just passing through. And the reality is that we live as if there's some kind of long-term permanence to our existence. I spoke about us setting up in our kind of retirement house here. Not that I have any intention of retiring, but a sense of having everything around us that we need. And it actually consumes quite a bit of time and energy. And here's Jesus asking us to consider what's important. Because the reality is that we can't take any of it with us. And there will come a time as we grow older where it's likely that all that we have becomes unmanageable and we need to divest ourselves of a lot of it. So how important is it to us? What is important to us? And I'm finding as I'm growing older, it's actually what I'm doing, it's the relationships, it's the encounters, it's the possibilities that in many ways are perhaps burning more brightly than they have before. I was struck by John Ortberg, who's a pastor and is actually a clinical psychologist. He's written a number of books, and I can't remember which book this was in, but I've written down the quotation, and he describes our mission and particularly our shadow mission. And this is kind of worth, I think, remembering. And I'm going to actually quote this down below in the bottom underneath the video. He says, my shadow mission is what I will do with my life if I drift on autopilot. It consists of activities towards which I will graduate if I allow my natural tendencies and selfishness to take over. I find that really quite challenging. I used to have it until I shifted on a little card on my wall just to continue to remind me the sense that we see in this passage of Jesus to live ready, to live with a sense of readiness, to live with a sense of expectancy, to live with a sense of focus, because it's so easy to drift into a kind of shadow mission where we lose sight of what the point of it might be, where we lose sight of a sense of call and a sense of mission, where we lose sight of the possibilities of how we might actually still make a difference. It's possible for all of us. Let me repeat that. My shadow mission is what I will do with my life if I drift on autopilot. It consists of activities toward which I will gravitate if I allow my natural tendencies and selfishness to take over. As I said, the invitation here is to live with a kind of intentionality each day. To look at each day as a gift, to look at each day as the day that Jesus might visit us. And I want to suggest that Jesus visits with us all the time. But to being open to that, to being receptive to that, to hearing the still small voice, to seeing those moments of invitation and prompting, and to respond to them in a positive and life-giving way. It happens to each of us. We're invited to take notice. Jesus is coming. He's coming to you. He's coming to me. He's coming today. And he invites us to open up and to be ready to be visited, to be ready for him to minister to us and with us. That's his delight. We read that in the story. We think we're to prepare to host him, but there's a sense that he hosts us. And so here we have it again. So I'm just inviting us all to consider this day, as we move into this week, is there a kind of intentionality? Is there a kind of openness to the possibilities of what God might have for us, or what Jesus might be inviting us into each day? Even though as we're growing older we might find ourselves and feel ourselves to be less capable, yet each day brings with it its challenges and its gifts and its graces. God bless you.